Welcome to UC Online Learning. Basically what we're going to produce here is a series of modules monthly that will allow any student at Combatives to improve their understanding of the knowledge required for civilian self-protection. In terms of what I'm going to give you now, I'm going to give you a basic introduction to what we're about, what Combatives is, what we're training for and what it isn't. First of all combative students, regardless of whether they are graded within UC or seeking to become instructors or instructors in their own thing, this first series of modules will be applicable. So this first introduction will be applicable for all students of Combatives, either that just train from with somebody reputable, or they have their own reality-based self-defense kind of training going, or specific students of UC that are graded or training with me and intending to grade. Basically the way this is offered is online learning for students to be able to understand the dynamics of self-protection. It's not offered in any way, shape or form as a way to learn via the internet or via a download and then get some kind of qualification. That's just not how it works. So what this really is online learning, online training. I'm going to give you one small module a week, for 4 a month, which may or may not be supported with some kind of PDF file to reinforce the teaching, so that you get a good understanding of training. So Cooper's colour codes are condition white, switched off; condition yellow, alert and aware; condition orange, a state of alarm; condition red, the necessity for action. In addition to this, we use also a faster moving observational tool, which was developed by Colonel John Boyd of the American Air Force. This is considered and recognised as the basic decision-making model under combat stress. So under combat stress, the OODA loop, which is an acronym for Observe, Orientate, Decide and Act, is employed by everybody. So in the worst case scenario, I see the problem but I can't avoid it. I employ situational control that buys me the opportunity to do something first. I preemptively strike, it's not enough and I have to continue my assault until the job's done, and then I get gone. So here, in terms of physical output and response, we're training on the violence volume dial of 10, because the threat that you're facing constitutes real threat to life. In all cases, we will train for 10, which means if I come across a subject that is less dangerous, maybe a 6 in terms of that, using that definition, then I can always turn my response down. But if I only ever train for a 6 and I meet a 10, it's very fucking difficult to escalate the response if you've never trained it. So we train to deal with the worst possible scenario. The thing to understand about Combatives is that it's at the extreme end of the self-protection scale. So if you imagine a big umbrella, and under this umbrella you've got traditional martial arts, then you've got combat sport, then you've got self-defense at your local leisure centre, which is teaching you how to break away from somebody grabbing your wrist. Then we've got more reality-based self-defense, and then you've got Combatives. Combatives is designed for worst case scenario, real threat to life. So you have to have a response in your training that is willing to meet that on a threat disparity level. Practice the gained planned response of a preemptive strike and the effect that I get from that, right up to a continuous attack. So we're just drilling the dynamic, right? So the dynamic is preemptively, I'll hit him first. If he's not immediately down, I'll attach to him and continue to hit him until he is down and finished. Then I'm gone. Yes? So awareness is in place because I've seen him approach. Situational control because I've contact managed him. I recognised he was about to do something during my time frame here, which tells me he's going to hurt me. So the best response is a proactive response. So I hit him with a preempt, but it doesn't do the job. If it does this, I'm gone. But if it just makes him stagger, you must train to continue. So we start at 10 at maximum response on the pad and then work it down. So the maximum response from here will be from this structure here. Hit him, grab him, hit him again, and again, and again. Now no more target, which means man down. Now I look around, tactically disengage and fuck off. So worst case scenario, working it on a pad first, just hit him, he's down, move around, and fuck off. Understand, I'm training for continuous attack. Hit him first, get a hold of him, and beat on him before he can recover.
There's no possibility of him recovering in this situation. That's an extreme thing to do. So that's not how you should approach every situation necessarily in a physical sense, but it's how you should approach every situation in your head on an emotional level. I should be prepared no matter what to do everything necessary to put him down. If after one shot it's done, well, that's Christmas, isn't it? But I must be prepared to go to 10 as soon as I engage. Does that make sense? If I rely on this response, which is maybe a 6 and it doesn't work, then I'm going to freeze and he's going to kick the fuck out of me. So you have to train for 10. Hopefully you will never need it, but you might need it. Do you understand? Right, so from here, palm attach, elbow, clinch, presents the pad. 1, 2, bring it down, stamp this, then look around as you get in reality. The way that, look, even if he's animated and aggressive and threatening me, here, if I preempt him, I'm hitting him first. I'm not giving him a chance to do anything. Do you understand? This is not how we usually do simulation, because it's too easy, because I'm going to hit him first. But it will demonstrate the dynamic of continuous attack. When we ever use scenario training, I take preemption away from you. You are not allowed to do anything until he's done something. Do you understand? That makes it much more fight-like and real-life-like. But this is how clinical it can be with a preemptive strike, just as the first thing I did and the only thing I needed, right? So let's look at that example first. So he's animated. He's dobbing off to me, I go to walk, he steps in front, and I'm fucking move out of my way, mate. Just leave me alone. If I get that, I'm gone. Do you understand? But you can't rely on that. So if I just did that, and then he's like fucking recovered, and I'm frozen in my mentality, what's he going to do to me now? He's going to beat the fucking shit out of me. Yeah? So let's look at worst case scenario. I need to continue, okay? So I go to walk, you start giving me a bit of a problem, right? So
what's your name, mate? What?
It doesn't matter what my name is,
Just
move away from me.
You tell me your fucking name.
Just fucking
tell me your
move away
fucking
from
name.
me. Now I'm gone. See the deal? So I want to get it over in 5 seconds. Because it's preemptive, it's clinical. I did something before he did something. In the initial sense, regardless of what I did, he started this because he was animated, verbally aggressive, and stepped in front of me and stopped me from moving. So I am reacting. I just hit him before he hit me. Do you understand? So we're just using this example with Kit now, just to get a feel of what it feels like, of how quick you could end this. Yeah? Of course, when you do simulation training and scenario training, you should take preemption away. So now maybe I mismanage this, and he throws a big shot at my head, boom, now I have to cover, and now I have to fight back. That's how we usually use this kit. But for the purpose of demonstrating continuous attack, it's useful to show the example. Does that make sense? Right. Of course I could use it off both sides. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3. Just a piston coming forward, just from here, from the pocket line, turning the hip and slapping the target. From here, just here, this angle of motion coming straight onto and through the target. It will work proactively, as will all strikes that we select to go into our UC toolbox, and it will work reactively. So by that I mean, if the subject was here and about to do something but hadn't yet, I could blitz into his face before he did something. If he grabbed me and his hand was here, I was against the wall and my hands were up, I could blitz into the face reactively. So these strikes will work, or these tools will work, proactive or reactive. So from here, the lead hand is going to go straight into the face, and I'm just going to hammer this fucking skull down. That's what I'm going to do. So how that looks on the pad, take your closest hand, same side foot, just press it straight into the pad. From here, grab it as an index, and then just hammer. But for now, all we're going to learn is just this boom, just this big forward elbow, fueled by the same body mechanic of the foot turning, firing the knee, firing the hip, creating a recoil, and then I release the weapon through the target as I move in the direction of the strike. So in terms of a knee to the groin from a tie-up, because I could also use it from a tie-up, so by that I mean I clinch the head. So maybe I strike him without clinch just to shut him down, or maybe I just shut him down. When I shut him down, I'll do it very concussive with a double tap here, and I'll drive this knee in. From here I could repeatedly use this knee, or I could switch knees and use the other side if I want. When I use the knee in this way, it's coming forward. If the subject is already down and the head is inclined and the chest is here, now the knee comes up. It's more of a knee lift. That's for when somebody is bent over. Once you've got that down, you can start to use the deception. So simply from here, look, what's up, mate? Just turn the hands and shrug the shoulders. And from here, throw the shot. In all cases, whether you land the shot clean or you just clip the inside of the thigh, or he pikes back and you just clip the groin, his energy will come forward. Which means from there, your transition to your next target from low becomes high as you start to hammer the high line. So here's the drill. Work from here, just working the kick, several reps. Then start to bring in the deception. Yo, what's up, man? Here. Work that a few times. Once you've gone from that to this, quite comfortably, get a transition by throwing the pad onto the back line of your structure so you can follow up. Now you're learning the, again, reiterating on the principle of low, high or high, low. So from here I'll be, yo, what's up, man? Here. Then on the finish. The way to practice it with partner is to clinch, driving the knee, using the attire and keeping your wrists and forearms in contact with the body part, i.e. his head. Snap straight down using the garment. Move to the side, strike with the knee, tactically disengage. This is the snatch. The perspective of somebody that's taller, significantly taller, let's say, will be to flank and to hit the groin to get the head down, then take the head out, then rotate, then pin. This is the chin. Right, so looking at our secondary tools, what we're going to work is ballistic manipulation. Ballistic manipulation basically means getting a hold of somebody and ragging them to a position where they're not supposed to move ballistically and violently. Do you understand? So that might be taking a small joint like a finger and ballistically snapping it. It might be taking a straight arm and wrenching it. Or it might be taking the head and rotating it. So stuff we're familiar with. This is called ballistic manipulation. And this works very well from extreme close quarters, which is where we are. And in extreme close quarters, primary weapons such as palms, slap and hammer fist are not usually available. So we're using what we call secondary tools. So secondary tools include restricted striking, ballistic manipulation, use of the environment, biting and gouging, and also weapons if we have weapons on us. Do you understand? In this case, what we're going to look at is a module that involves near enough all of those things except weapons. So we're going to start with ballistic manipulation, which is also a restricted strike. So what I'm going to do is I'm just from this position, because he's very close to me and I'm encumbered by a wall, I want to shut him down. I want to hurt him before he indexes me and starts to hurt me. So I'm going to do that by ballistically grabbing his neck and pulling his head close to me. This is a ballistic manipulation because I'm not doing it gentle, pulling his head to my chest. I'm ballistically pulling his head off the axis of his shoulders and slamming it into my shoulder. Do you understand? This is an example of ballistic manipulation. What's also inserted inside of that is a concussive strike, first with my right, then with my left. But it's quite a restricted strike because it's a small movement, but it's a restricted strike nonetheless. Got it? So from here, all I'm going to do is concussively hit here and ballistically pull his head into my chest. This ties me up in a position that looks like a tie clinch. The second that I index this, I've sent an alarm to his head. I've made a concussive shot to his high line, which has took his attention. I'm going to immediately follow that with a low line knee to the groin, which again from this position is restricted. So I've hit him high, then low, concussively and ballistically. Do you understand? So what I'm doing from here, literally, just from this position, is hitting here with a slap and cupping the back of his head. And then bump bump from here, pulling his face into my shoulder butt. So literally from here, this. And then my knee comes in. And as the knee comes in, I'll release and hit again. This is an example of restricted striking and ballistic manipulation. At this point, I want to return to our soft skills to reiterate the importance of mindset, which should be understood from the very beginning and applied through all elements of your training throughout the entire training career.
At about grade 2 level within UC, after the student is introduced to the game plan, the colour codes and the OODA loop, we start to talk about one of the final soft skill training models that we use, which is the vital pyramid. The vital pyramid is a model for self-protection, and it was developed by John Lofty Wiseman for the SAS. And basically it's a model for self-protection for military units, special forces or soldiers, law enforcement, security operatives and civilians. It applies to all of us. This module we're looking now towards counter-offence, so everything we looked at so far works from a proactive perspective where you took initiative first. The reality is that's not always possible, so there might be a situation where you were slightly switched off, caught unawares, maybe slightly in denial, or just didn't expect it, and something is now happening to you and you're now reacting. Well, if somebody's doing something to you, then you are responding, which is less than the ideal. But shit happens and you need to have a response or a contingency plan for that. So our main game plan is geared around being preemptive, but inside of that, even if I am preemptive, something else or someone else could get involved, grab me, hit me, pull a weapon, maybe end up in a scuffle, I go to the ground. Any number of things can happen where I'm now reacting, and this is now counter-offensive, so we are responding. Notice how I use language, I'm not saying defensive. So offensive indicates I'm taking initiative, whereas defensive indicates somebody else is taking initiative and I'm defending. And defending by its very nature is losing. So rather than use the term defensive to create that kind of mindset, I want to talk about counter-offensive. And that basically is, all right, you've done something, I need to deal with it, but now I'm bringing the fight back to me, and I will again dominate. So counter-offensive is just a preferred terminology in the way we use language. In terms of how we're going to look at our counter-offence, the first part of the next two modules are going to incorporate common, unarmed assault. So common, unarmed, untrained assault. So by the average person in the street thug, whatever else, who has bags of tenacity and aggression, but pretty low level of skill. That doesn't make him any less dangerous. In terms of unarmed, the most common way that you're going to be assaulted is you're going to be punched. People don't slap, chin jab or axe hand, they punch. If you Google search any video that relates to real fights or caught on CCTV, people ball their fist and punch their head. They headhunt and they wail. Now you could get anything from somebody throwing a big right hand, to grabbing you and repeatedly throwing the same hand, to throwing left and right with some degree of precision, to just some pikey dropping his head and windmilling in. The end result is often the same. If some big bony fist hits you in any part of the head or the jaw, followed by body weight, followed by a succession of similar punches, then there's a good chance, if you haven't dealt with that already, that you're going down. So what we're going to look at first is a method for dealing with any type of punching assault to the head. In regards to the response we use, the commonalities shared within combatives is what's called a default position, which basically means framing your head. Right here I'm bringing in Jamie Miller, first generation UC instructor. He's going to assist me as he has through a lot of these modules. So basically what we're going to look at is the structure that I would give a student for level 1 in terms of understanding the default position and cultivating a grasp of the concept of cover, crash and counter, which relates to unarmed and armed assault, as we'll see as we go on. Initially, as we start, we work with the very basic and then we progress. As you see, you start to get jumpy and predict and pre-preempt, if you like. That's good. That's what I'm trying to cultivate in you now. That anticipation of, fuck, I'm going to get hit. And if you're actually working with somebody that can hit and will hit you, no call was given and none is asked for, then you're going to learn something. So what's important when you get with your partner and work these kind of drills is that once you have an understanding of the principle, which will protect you and save you bacon, is that you actually fucking hit each other. You know, don't play at it. It's not a ladies' knitting class. If you're going to learn how to deal with somebody who's aggressive, hell-bent on knocking you out, then you have to simulate in conditions where your partner is hell-bent on knocking you out. So in certain situations, if you're an instructor teaching that in a class, if you're taking it up to that level,
it might be necessary for you to have your students sign a waiver, but certainly get them to understand that if you want to learn how to swim, you've got to get fucking wet. So throw the shots with intent like you mean it. Worst case scenario that's going to happen here is going to knock me out with a pad, you'll put me in a recovery position, pick me back up and we'll start all over again. Outside of that, I'm going to use the principle of cover crash counter, use my body language acuity to pick up on any movement that he makes and protect myself successfully. Obviously for the purpose of this drill, I'm just showing you cover and crash. From here, as soon as I've covered and crashed and my elbows are indexing his body, I would be countering, which is the point where I take him apart. But there is a progression, and the progression is that you get the cover nice and tight, you learn to get inside the arc of the weapon, and you get used to getting hit, so uncomfortable becomes familiar. Now once you're inside, instead of being frozen and shocked to such a degree that you can't do anything, you've been here before and you should be able to operate. Understand, if you get caught by surprise in this way, and this default is fortunate enough to kick in, or you get caught with a shot that just clips you and then you cover, you are momentarily in a state of shock. You are momentarily frozen. And there's only one way to break the freeze, you've got to hit the cunt. So from this cover position, immediate retaliation is the only thing that's going to bring the fight back to me. But for now, here's the progression. All I'm going to work is just this cover from his spontaneous assault. Yes. From there, obviously, attach, follow up, and finish the fucker. This is the first few progressive drills that I want you to learn for this module that relate to the default cover response and cover crash counter.
Combatives training is all about mental and physical conditioning. And the mental conditioning part is making you rewire how you think so that you are predatory. Do you understand? I am predatory in my head. In my head, regardless of the situation that I'm facing, I am a bigger predator than you. Whether that is true or not is irrelevant. If I believe it to be true, then I will do everything feasible, mentally and physically, to make it that outcome. Do you understand? Which means there's a good chance that I'll win. Or if I don't win, I'll prevail. Do you understand? So my mindset is not, I'll do whatever it takes to survive this. Because if your objective is survival, that's the end game. And you don't meet your objective, you don't survive, you're dead. You have to have somewhere to go with it, do you understand? So my objective is to win at all costs. I'll do whatever it takes to win, to prevail. To walk away as the one walking and you're down. Now, if I do everything to make that feasible, but I don't prevail, I should still survive. There's somewhere to go with it. Do you understand? I'll just end up being the best fucking second best you've ever seen. So that's the mentality. So we don't use the word, the lingual part of defensive. You are defending. So I'd never say to you, right, in this drill, this guy's the aggressor. And you are the victim, and he's going to attack you, and you are going to defend. Do you know what I mean? Mentally, I've already laid it out. You lost. It's done. It gets finished. Do you understand? So, instead of that, reframe your thinking. Right, you're going to do something. That's a little hiccup, but I'll deal with it, and now I'm going to punish you. It's that kind of thinking. Predatory thinking. Do you understand? So we're counter-offensive now. And in this case, what we're looking at is common, unarmed, untrained methods of assault. We've looked in depth at how people punch people. Now we're going to look at how people grab people. And people integrate both. They grab you to hit you, or they hit you then grab you, or they hold you while someone else hits you, or they shove you off balance and hit you. They don't hold you static like depicted in the martial art magazines because they want to fucking take you home with them. Something is going to happen. So if this guy grabs you and fucking yokes you up and is in your face pointing, he's intimidating. It's an emotional assault, which will probably proceed to the physical, particularly if you capitulate. Do you understand? Or he will grab you and fucking hit you straight away. If somebody grabs you by the lapels and yokes you up, they could give you a good talking to, or they could smash your face in with a headbutt, or they could put your testicles in your throat with a knee. The point is, As soon as somebody grabs you, there's a chance they're going to do something, which means your response must be immediate. Do you understand? And in terms of how we deal with it, we're not technical based in combatives, we're principle based. So it's not left big toe on here, right big toe on here, keep your wrist just so. It's somebody grabs me frontal as an example. I'll latch on with one hand so he can't get away with me, from me, and I'll smash the living fuck out of him with the other hand, with whatever tool that presents itself to whatever target. Does that make sense? Now I'm not boxing you into confinement. Yes? So we're going to look at common unarmed grab and assault integrating striking. So we're going to look at this frontal grab, we're going to look at a headlock, we're going to look at being shoved into the wall and punched from behind as you're grabbed, and we're going to look at maybe getting attacked from the rear. Okay? First thing we're going to do is look at what will happen if you do nothing. So I'm going to use protective kit, role-play, dialogue and simulation to show you this is how some street thug will come up and grab you, and this is what he'll do next if you do fuck all. And this is where you'll be. Do you understand? So what this should do is create the need to learn. Shit, don't want that to happen to me actually. Particularly if he's got three mates and they're kicking your head like a Coke can as soon as you hit the ground. Or if it's not a punch but a repeated stab because he's got a knife in his hand. Do you understand? So what we're going to do is start first of all from some kind of frontal grab perspective. So an individual has grabbed you, latched onto your garment, a lapel, maybe, your t-shirt, and is going to either fucking intimidate and point or escalate that into punching you in the head. Do you understand? Or grabbing you with two hands, yoking you up, headbutting you, etc. Okay, so we're going to look at what will happen. As soon as a thug hits you in the street, the very first thing you do will be a very simple thing. He'll grab you and hit you. He'll do it with a very nasty, fierce mentality, so it'll be brutal. And it will be emotionally motivated. Do you understand? It'll be emotionally rooted. He'll have no problem of hitting you and hurting you with hate. He'll kick you and give you everything he's ever gone wrong in his life inside his boots. He'll have no problem with this emotional attachment, which is what a lot of students of self-defense have a problem gathering. And that's why I've got to give you it. You've got to get that ability to switch on antisocial profile and switch it back off to be normal again. So you need to manage the state and control it, but you certainly need to access it. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah. Right.